Welcome on into a KSL Sports live reaction to news that BYU has announced that Jaren Hall is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cougars in the 2021 season. I'm Mitch Harper, host of this show, also on Cougar Tracks and Cougar Sports Saturday. This is on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching this. Feel free to interact, share your thoughts, chime in. Going to have a lot of fun here on this. Again, make sure to download the KSL Sports app as well, so you can get all the latest news in the world of BYU football, basketball, sports, everywhere in between. It's always presented by University Federal Credit Union. So you see it on the screen. Jaren Hall named the starting quarterback for the Cougars. It's no surprise, honestly, to me. I felt like all along, I said it in the preseason, the bold prediction I felt was, I don't think it was bold, but Jaren Hall was going to be that starter for the Cougars in 2021. Now, the question is going to become, is it the right decision? He's going to have that opportunity to prove himself against Arizona, because this is one of the most heated battles, I think, in recent memory when it comes to quarterback play at BYU. I've followed BYU for many years and actually got a piece up on the website right now looking at the season opening quarterbacks over the years, and there's been some great battles in BYU history. But I felt like Jaren Hall, Baylor Romney, Jacob Conover, they had a great debate. There was a valid argument, I think, for any one of these three guys. But to me, Jaren Hall was the number one quarterback because what he did in 2019 and those limited opportunities that he had, I felt like he was the guy to me that you want to amplify that production by a full game. Because remember, against Utah State, against USF, he was out. He had to leave early due to concussion protocol. But the production, man, that was good. 200 yards through the air, 50 yards rushing against Utah State. And mind you, Utah State, they were a favorite in that game. And Jaren Hall takes over the 104th ranked scoring offense in college football. And that offense was humming. BYU was dealing like never before seen that season. That was a season that had Zach Wilson as QB1 to begin the year. So I think with all that in mind, you want to kind of amplify and see what Jaren Hall can do over the course of an entire game. You want to see what he can do over 2, 3, 4 weeks, an entire season, because there's endless potential, I think, with Jaren Hall. And I think the fact that he sacrificed a baseball career, put that on hold, and then also he signed up to work with John Beck at 3D QB. It showed his commitment level to being the quarterback, the starting quarterback for BYU, and now he's got that job. Aaron Roderick officially announced that Jaren Hall was going to be QB1 earlier today in a noon press conference, which, by the way, I might add, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest with you, that Jaren Hall, and I see your questions, I'll get to those here momentarily from Justin and Sir Robin, but I'll admit, I was a little bit surprised that BYU announced the decision. I was just kind of expecting it to be at kickoff. And personally, it's like, that's fine. Like, you can announce it at kickoff. I'm going to still do my job. I'm going to still cover BYU here for KSL Sports and KSL News Radio. But I think that, Kalani and A-Rod, I think, wanted to give Jaren Hall this platform to be the number one quarterback over these next 10 days to get that limelight, that shine of being QB1. And I think also for you, the fans, I think it was great for Kalani to kind of give this and let the fans get excited about BYU football this year and rally around Jaren Hall. So I think it was cool that BYU announced it early, 10 days before kickoff, before they faced the Arizona Wildcats down in Las Vegas. Again, you're watching a KSL Sports live stream, live reaction to the news here. You see on the screen, Jaren Hall named BYU starting quarterback, going to face the Arizona Wildcats September 4th in Las Vegas. We're going to be down there, KSL Sports and KSL News Radio. So we'll have a ton of coverage down in Vegas for that season opener. But Jaren Hall is the starting QB. Let's get some of your questions. LH Coug, when will the rest of the BYU depth chart be released? Good question. That's been being finalized. I would expect that on Monday when they issue out the weekly game notes. That would be my expectation. Justin Mace, was Romney really ever an option? It's a good question. I felt like, in my mind, I never viewed him as going to be the QB1. And maybe that's just because I always felt that Jaren Hall was always ahead of him. When Jaren Hall was healthy, Jaren has always been ahead of Baylor. What was going to suddenly change this year, especially after Jaren adds John Beck to his rapport of training? You got Dustin Smith with QB Elite, but just all the work that Jaren has done. And the fact, too, that he had the least amount of turnovers in camp. I think that, Jaren was always to me the favorite. I think Aaron Roderick even hinted at that at media day when he said something to the effect of, if he's healthy, he's going to be tough to beat. I think we kind of knew Jaren Hall was going to be that guy. He ultimately wins out the job, and I think it was the right move. Sir Robin. So who is number 2 and who hits the portal? It was interesting. I asked this to Aaron Roderick. I said, so what is Baylor's and Baylor and Jacob's next steps after this? And they're like, A-Rod goes, well, they're expected to go to practice unless there's something different, something you're not telling me. I'm like, well, coach, because of the transfer portal, the presence there, did they share their intentions of what they're going to do next? And it's interesting with BYU. I feel like these 3 guys, they have kind of a love or a passion for BYU. It's kind of unique. It's unique, one, that you have 2 quarterbacks that have limited starting experience, but they've been part of the program for 4 years. You don't see that in college football. Jacob Conover, a 4-star recruit, he loves BYU. Even though he's a 3rd-string guy, most 4-star recruits that are quarterbacks become 3rd string. They're instantly in the portal. Jacob Conover, I think, is going to, he's going to stay patient. He's going to wait his time, because you never know what can happen in football too with the quarterback position. Like, let's say in a hypothetical here, what if Jaren Hall takes off? And what if he has a ton of success and puts his name into the NFL? He could. He's well beyond 3 years removed from high school. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it did, then the stage is set again for another battle. Anything can happen with QBs. And I think, too, to answer your question, Sir Robin, who is number 2, it's going to be Baylor Romney. But I think that battle is going to continue on throughout the season. My good friend, a co-host on Cougar Sports Saturday, Matt Biamonte, he said an interesting take, which I tend to agree with. I think in a game, if Jaren Hall goes down, you turn to Baylor Romney. But if you have a full week to prepare, you let Baylor Romney and Jacob Conover battle it out. And personally, I would go with Conover in that situation because, as we heard from Aaron Roderick in fall camp, Aaron Roderick said Jacob Conover showed flashes, and he was kind of hesitant to say it, showed flashes of a young Zach Wilson and Jacob Conover. Conover's more risky. He's going to maybe throw a few more turnovers, but man, the arm talent is real, and he's just a gifted player. He's got, if you want to predict who's going to be maybe the next highly rated draft pick, I think I'd put my bets on Jacob Conover. That's just my opinion. But I feel like Conover a little bit too risky at this moment, and I just think it would have been too difficult to start a true freshman in week 1. I just think that it was the talent is tantalizing, no question about it. But Jaren Hall was always the right pick, and I think that now he's just got the chance to prove it. And the thing that's nice for BYU is that if Jaren Hall struggles, and I don't think he will, I don't think it'll be just this colossal nightmare like 2017 lows. I don't think that. It's going to take a little bit of a step back compared to last year, I would imagine. But I do think that if Jaren Hall has struggles, Aaron Roderick's got the luxury to turn to Baylor Romney or Jacob Conover. And I don't think there's going to be a short leash with Jaren. Like, he's got to be kind of a disaster to get yanked if he's healthy. But I think he's going to have some success because this BYU team, the skill talent around Jaren Hall, it's pretty good. It's really good. In fact, I think the national pundits and the national talking heads are sleeping a lot on BYU with the talent that they have. I mean, Tyler Algier, 1,000-yard running back, the wide receivers, Gunnar Romney, Neil Powell, Puka Nacua, if he can stay healthy. Those are sort of things that BYU is pretty armed and loaded to support Jaren Hall and give him the tools and the weapons necessary to have a lot of success. And the offensive line, too, that was kind of a question I had coming into fall camp was the starters I had a lot of belief in. What about the backups, though? Starters are going to be good. The starting offensive line with James Empey at middle, the center spot, he's going to be your captain, your anchor of the O-line. The tackles, Blake Freeland took a little bit of an adjustment, he told me, switching from the right side to the left side. But Harris LaChance, a future stud at right tackle. The guards, Connor Pay, going to be really good. And then Clark Barrington, I think, is a future NFL draft pick. So BYU's in a good spot. The depth, though, I still have some questions on the O-line. If you get 1 or 2 injuries, you get a little bit more thin. But this offense is set for Jaren Hall to have success immediately. I mean, Steve Young, the great Steve Young, even told us on KSL News Radio back over the summer, he's like, not a better time to break in a new quarterback with the weapons that BYU currently has. And I tend to agree. I mean, that's why I'm going to release my game by game predictions coming up here this week. But I have BYU winning 9 games this year. I do. I think BYU is going to go 9-3 this season. I just feel like the talent, the roster makeup of BYU's team, it's just there's so much depth around the program right now, and there's competitive depth. Like if you get an injury, and if it's a notable guy, I don't feel like it's as devastating as it once was. Even if Jaren Hall suffered an injury, no one wants to see that happen. But you've got the players and the talent in place to continue humming at a high level and keep having success. So very excited to see what BYU does this season. Again, Jaren Hall, #1 quarterback for BYU. You can share your questions, your reactions on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching. Feel free to share your commentary, your questions. You can follow us too at KSL Sports on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I got to get back on the TikTok train. I got to keep doing the dances. I got to get a few more of those out there, but we're going to have more coverage here on KSLSports.com. If you got any more questions, feel free to hit me up, send those off, and we'll keep breaking it down here. But that's going to do it. Jaren Hall, named the starting quarterback for BYU. Cougars and the Wildcats 10 days from now in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, the Death Star. Man, that's going to be a good time. Are you going to the game? Share your comments if you're going to be going. Looking forward to that. I'll see you all there, and we'll talk to you next time here on the KSL Sports live reaction show, and also check me out on KSLSports.com. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.